Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We are going to do some little mods to my Sunny Sunshine here. I've already had to remove a couple of items that failed. The rear gearbox mount, which I'm going to show you, right, well, not the rear gearbox mount, the front gearbox mount. Have a look at this. Ready? Not good. Not good at all. Yeah, the car's done 2,000 miles and that's just completely shit itself. Also, the hydraulic clutch, the O-rings have perished inside it. Again, more rubber failures. I love rubber failures, don't I? I also removed my Cyclops light because I just got sick of it. Wanted to take it off. So now we've got no Cyclops light. We have our little plugs though. You can see here, little plug here. There's a little O-ring behind it, stop the water getting in. And, you know, from a distance, you can't really tell that it was ever up there. What we're doing today, we are putting on one of these new Accelerator linkages. Got it from this place here. Thanks, Gordon. All air-cooled. And as you guys know, this is a Butty's Bits. And it's just an upgraded accelerator linkage. If you've got a sloppy accelerator, and this one's not flash either. I mean, I did try to modify it a couple of times. But the pedal, you know, it's still got a little bit of play in it. So I figured, yeah, why not? I'll put one in the ute. Let's whack one in the bus. So up we go. Let's get to the underneath of it. Okay, so let's have a look under here. You can see this is all the factory rod, but it does have a little bit of play in it. I have put a rose joint on this thing in the past just to try to get rid of a bit of the slop, but you know, it's still not flash. So that's what we're going to do. We'll pull that out and we're going to put one of these new ones in. Let's just have a bit of a look at the kit here. Now, they give you a little spanner, which you do need, and that's what that looks like there. That comes into play later on, but basically, I mean, there's no instructions in it, but you really don't need anything because it is fairly self-explanatory how this gets mounted. So I'll run that by you guys once. You can see, obviously, that part there is the bit that goes up through the floor to your pedal. And this is your linkage part here that goes to the cable itself. So, and then these mounts here, they pretty much go straight into the original mounting positions underneath. So first thing we've got to do is remove the old linkage. So let's get into that. Okay, so first things first on my application, obviously I've got a custom arm here with a rose joint. We need to undo this little grub screw here, and then obviously undo that bolt there to take the cable off. Then we can slip this part off and then pull the cable out. Obviously we've got to undo the linkage on the other side too. So first thing I'm going to need there is a little Allen key. We'll go and grab that. Done. Then we can undo the cable. So just basically take those parts off, which obviously we're not going to use again. Okay, so we've obviously got all the components out of the way. One thing to notice with my setup is I do have a hydraulic clutch, so I have this little arm here welded on. It is pretty close to the mounting point, so we'll see whether we're going to run into any problems or not with that. On a standard splitty, obviously your pedal would have the cable attached to the top for the clutch, so you wouldn't have this arm here, so you'd have obviously a lot more room around the mounting little square nut that you've got here. But basically the idea, if you look at the kit, you've got a nut and bolt here and a nut and bolt here, and there's a laser cut little square. Now I'm going to just remove these parts just to show you how it does go together, and it is fairly easy. You've got on here, you've got the little cutaway and then the circle behind it. That cutaway will basically sit straight on top of that nut that's already there, like so. You can see how that just slotted in. And then on the other side, you're going to do the same thing. Now, obviously that's not bolted in, but you can see it's just sitting there. Now, once we move this around to where it's got to go, maybe just do it like this would be easier. Put it up the right way, like that. So, is this going to work? Absolutely, yes it will. So I won't have any problems. This little guy here clips underneath, like so. And that's our return spring. You can see that working. And then obviously now all we've got to do is put the plate and run the bolts through here, run the bolts through on the other side, and then put our little linkage arm up into, if I just take you off the tripod here, you can have a look here on this side. Same deal. You can see how that just mounts in like so onto that thing. That'll go, plate will go like that, and we run the bolt through, and this arm is going to go through the floor into your pedal, and then that gets connected to your pedal, that gets connected to your cable for your throttle, and that's it. So let's get the bolts and nuts in it and go from there. So with this extra little plate that they give you, what I can tell with that one is you put that on top of the clip first. You put this little laser cut part on top of the nut, and then also slide this one, because there's a bit of a spacing issue there. Oh, come on, butter hook. Get you into position first, and I'll leave that. Pop you on top of there. So that must be just a spacer. Okay, so you put that little wedge, the little wedge piece in behind the square nut. Then you put your plate and your other one. The bolt has to run through the other way because there's clearance issues with that washer. There we go. Okay, put the nut like so. That one's on. And then we can get the spanners, tighten up all that. All right, so obviously hooking up the accelerator cable, you can see there, you put a washer on the inside, put the cable on the shaft, put another washer, then put your 10mm bolt on, and it is nylock. And then obviously do that one up. Go all the way super tight and then back it off, just so that it can rotate on the shaft. Just make sure that you can feel that a little bit less. Like that, because it needs to be able to rotate. If you can see that, there we go. A little bit of movement there, otherwise it'll be sticky. Probably go a little bit more, to tell you the truth. That's better. This is just a clip, and that just clips on the rail like so, and that's your return spring. That part's done. Now what we have to do is come around to the other side here. Now obviously 8mm Allen key to do the bolt up, and a 17mm spanner for the nylock nut just here. So tighten up those two on both sides. Make sure you run your linkage inside like so, and then we'll go up inside the cab now and hook up the rest of it. So let's go to the top. So we come inside the cab here. Okay, so I'll just show you in here. That's pretty self-explanatory. You just put that bolt through, put a washer either side of your thingo, and then to tighten it up, you need to use the little spanner they give you, which is this guy, and that has to slip behind the back here, just in there like so, and then you can tighten up the 8mm nut. So let's get that done. All right, we can get out here. Now we need to adjust the pedal position, because at the moment now that's actually pretty high up. So okay, so what you can do to adjust that pedal so that it's not sticking up in the air so much, you've got another hole here, another adjustment hole. You can actually drop this down slightly lower, and that'll bring the pedal down lower. Use your little spanner, I suppose, in there, and then same deal, 8mm on the back. Just undo that nut. And then what you can do, undo that and put it into the secondary hole, like so. And we'll go up and just double check that to make sure that that is comfortable. All right, we can put our little rubber back in his spot where he needs to go. There you go. So you can see now, just looking at the angle of the pedal, it's on, you know, a similar plane to the brake pedal, and that's about perfect for where it needs to be. So there you go. That's tight. I've got the O-ring back in here where it needs to go, or the cover, I should say. Come on, in you come, you bastard. That's it. And let's have a look under here. Nice and tight. You can see there's no play at all now. Just cable and job's done. So, you know, probably a 10-minute job just to get it all installed, and obviously adjust your pedal to suit. You can change the angle at the other end on the cable as well if you really want to do that, and I can show you that here. So what you can do is just here on the cable, you can undo the little grub screw here and just move that cable you know, back or forward, and that's still going to make the it's still going to make this linkage work. I mean, this has got a fairly big spring on it, so we might not even need to use that extra spring on the front. We won't know until we drive the bus. Yeah, what you can do is you might even remove this completely. You might not need to use it if those ones at the back are tight enough, but for now we'll leave it on there and see how it goes. That is that job done. I've still got to wait around for the parts to get this thing operational again, then we can start driving it. It needs a really good clean under here. It's gone through a whole lot of mud and gunk, and you know, I tried to keep this thing pretty clean underneath. Now the other thing is to update on the Beetle. We're still waiting for the sandblaster to get back to us so we can get this body blasted. I might even just start doing the doors myself. You know, who knows? We'll see what happens. All right, guys, bit of a quick video today. We'll see you in another episode. Thanks for the new subscribers too, and we'll catch you in another episode. Yep.